What's up YouTube? Jeff back again from DopeTechDaily.com, and today I'm finally back with a new video. I know a lot of people thought I was dead. I've been gone for 16 days. Long story, but if you check out my Twitter, I talked a little bit about it. My regular job where I work as a professor, we had some issues with an instructor that couldn't continue teaching their courses. I had to take them over, so I've been teaching more classes, been a lot busier. Anyway, I'm back in with some tech, and I got some reviews coming up on the Pixel, the LG V20. I know I'm way behind. But I got something new today, and I figured I might as well return with a bang, with a new product, with an unboxing of the Samsung Gear S3 Frontier. Now, this is the T-Mobile variant. I just picked it up from T-Mobile. It's got the LTE inside. I'm going to go ahead and unbox it. I'm going to give you guys a size comparison to the previous models in the Gear family. I've got pretty much all of them, and I'll also compare it to a couple Android Wear watches. I also got my Apple Watch, which I'm wearing right now. We'll do the size comparison. We'll boot it up. I'm going to try to pair it to my LG V20. So one of the greatest things about the Frontier is this is sort of a rugged watch. It's got a rubber strap. They also make the Gear S3 Classic, which has got the leather strap. It's going to give you a little bit more of a luxurious look if you want to wear it for business, etc. I went with the Frontier because I can wear this watch anywhere. It still looks good enough that you can wear it to work every day if you really want to. And also, I really prefer the rubber strap over the leather because over time the leather strap really gets worn out and you got to replace it. Now, you do have these replaceable straps on here. So overall, a very nice looking watch. It does have a pretty nice bezel on the front. The build quality seems great. I'm going to go ahead and take the plastic off here so we can get a quick look at it. As you guys probably know from the Gear S2, you've got the rotating bezel on this particular watch just like last year. Some plastic all over it here, so let me try to peel off the plastic so we can get a good look. It's a little piece under there, so you can just peel that off. And then there's a little piece under here as well. See if we can just peel that off as well. And then we can open it up and take a quick look. Should be some chargers and stuff in here as well. Let me actually just go ahead and take a look in there. We'll go ahead and get the tour of the watch. Let's see what else is in the box. We got our charging cable itself. So this one just going to be micro USB, I believe. Let's check it out though. And indeed, yeah, just a standard micro USB charging cable. You've got some documentation here. Of course, as I said, this is the T-Mobile model, so you've got some documentation from T-Mobile. You've got power brick here from Samsung, and you've got your charging cradle. So it looks like the charging cradle itself is actually pretty much the same. I don't really see any huge differences from last year's model, so let's actually just take a closer look, but it appears the charging cradle really isn't any different. No, not really. It's pretty much the same one you got with the Gear S2. So you're going to get that wireless charging. You just sit your watch right on there and then let that charge overnight. So while I'm talking about the charging, Samsung is claiming that on this particular watch, you're going to get about 3 to 4 days battery life. Now, I'm highly skeptical of that particular claim. As you guys probably know, most smartwatches, the battery life is going to be 1 to 2 days, 2 days maximum, especially if you're a heavy user. So I'm really skeptical of that 3 to 4 day battery life claim. But if you check out Samsung's website, that is what they claim. Now that's for the Wi-Fi model, so I don't know, the LTE of course is going to drain this a little bit more. So if we look around here, you can see, got right there on the back, Samsung Gear S3 Frontier. Very, very nice. You can see right here, it's got that 316L stainless steel case. So very, very good build quality, and you can definitely tell the weight on this watch gives you a really premium feel in the hand. The bezel feels so much better than the one on the Gear S2. The bezel on this watch, very premium. The metal feel is really nice. The ridges on it are really nice, make it easy to turn. You got a couple physical buttons over here on the side right there. Rubber strap seems pretty nice. I'm going to go ahead and put it on here in a second. Right now I'm just going to boot it up though because I want to go through the pairing process with you guys. Now, one of the other main features that you do have on this particular watch is you do have, so the power button right there is on the bottom, just hold that down. One of the other features you do have on this watch is you got Samsung Pay built into the watch with the magnetic stripe reading technology, supposedly. I'm going to be testing that out. And also the other thing I was reading today is that this is going to work with Samsung Pay even if you don't have it paired up to a Samsung phone. So all phones that have Android 4.4 and above with 1.5 gigabytes of RAM will actually be compatible with your Gear S3 Frontier. The screen on it looks fantastic, by the way. Nice high-resolution screen. And you've also got the new Gorilla Glass for wearables. I believe it's the SR Plus version of the Gorilla Glass on here as well. So we'll put that to the test, see how much that scratches up in day-to-day use. So you guys can see right here, when you get ready to pair the watch, it's going to say to open the Samsung Gear app. Now I went ahead and installed it. Again, this is not a Samsung phone. You guys can see this is my LG V20. So I'm going to go ahead and try to pair this up with the V20. We'll see if we can get it to work. They claim that Samsung Pay is also going to work even if you have a non-Samsung phone paired up. So you can see right there, I'm going to go ahead and click connect to Gear. Let's go ahead and allow those permissions, and then let's see if we can get this to work out here. So it's searching for the gear. It found it. Let's click pair. Let's click pair on both of those. See if we can get it paired up. It says tap OK to install the plugin. So go ahead and type accept that and install the Gear S plugin from the Play Store. Just take a minute to install that. I'm hoping that the Samsung Pay is going to work, because one of the main issues I have right now is that I'm using the S7 Edge Exynos version, the international one, and it doesn't have Samsung Pay on it because it's an international variant from Italy. So I'm hoping if I pair this up to any of my other Android phones, I'll then be able to use the Samsung Pay with that. A few other things while this is installing, we can let that install and set up. This does have IP68 certification for dust and water resistance, just like the Samsung phones. So if you get caught out in the rain, you're not going to have to worry about this. If you take it in some shallow water, you're not going to have to worry about that either. No issues at all. Looks like we have to install Samsung accessory service as well. Kind of a lot of apps to install, but I imagine that's because this is not a Samsung phone. So if you got an LG or an HTC or something, you might have to install quite a bit to get this thing up and running. But it does look like it's actually going to work, and then we'll get a chance to test it out with the Samsung Pay. I'll be doing that tonight, and I'll give you guys an update. So again, let's just let that continue. Anything else around the watch? Overall, looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and try it on, and then I'm going to give you guys some size comparisons to the Apple Watch, etc. So let me go ahead and just put it on my wrist, and I'll tell you guys sort of how this feels. I'm going to go ahead and do it behind the camera. It's a little bit easier. Just 1 second. It's a relatively big watch, not quite as big as the LG Watch Urbane LTE. I have that watch, and I'll give you guys a quick comparison in a second. Overall, the rubber strap feels very nice. It's sturdy, but it's also soft on the inside. It's got a nice soft matte coating on the inside, so it's not too rough. The LG Watch Urbane LTE, the strap on that one kind of cut into my wrist a little bit. Felt that it was a little too stiff. This one's got some give to it. I actually really like it quite a bit. Think I'll enjoy wearing it. Obviously, I'll have to report back after a few days, but it seems to not be too bad overall. Looks like I have to agree to a few terms and conditions to get this completely set up. All right, guys, I'm back. I went ahead and got this set up completely. Oh, and we've got the phone set up as well as the app. Just a couple extra steps. You got to allow notifications, choose which apps you want to get there. And it's going to show you how to use the bezel here. You can see how to use it to switch between your apps. Press the back key to go back in an app here. And then it says to swipe down from there to get your status. Swipe up there, and then you can press the home key to view your apps. So kind of like when you go with the Apple Watch, you can click there. It says you can cover and touch the screen to dim it. So that will dim the screen for you. So there's a couple gestures there that you can use. And of course, I do like the navigation on the Gear S3. It's very similar to the Gear S2. The rotating bezel has definitely been improved. Again, the build quality is very, very nice. It's easy to use. And also the back button, having these hardware buttons is very, very useful in my opinion. Some people said they should get rid of those. I disagree. I think it's a nice look. Overall, so far it seems super fluid. You can switch between all of your apps there on the rotating bezel as well. You've got S Health, you've got your weather. Of course, you can get your notifications here if you go to that side. Overall, it's a nice setup. It seems very similar to the software. I'll dig into some of the software improvements on Tizen in a future video, and then also into the app a little bit. I just want to give you guys some quick size comparisons, because that's the first thing that's important when wearing a watch. Obviously, you want to know how it compares to some of the others. Here's the original Galaxy Gear S. You guys, of course, can see the evolution over time. This one was huge, curved screen, looks like something futuristic, almost like a phone itself. The Gear S3 looks like a real watch. I mean, there's really just no comparison in these two. They're completely different, but I'm definitely hanging on to my original Gear S just because of the nostalgia, and there's nothing like it out there. The Gear S2, so here's the original Gear S2. You can see the Gear S3 Frontier. It's quite a bit bigger in terms of the overall face. It's going to look a little bulkier. Doesn't feel too bulky on my wrist, but I do have sort of a bigger wrist. You also had those physical buttons on the side last year. The quality, the build quality of the bezel, so much better. It's smoother. It's more tactile because you can feel the grooves around the edge of the bezel, and it just feels more quality. You don't hear that, I hear this clicking sound when I use the Gear S2, and it's always been that way. This one, not really as pronounced, not nearly as loud. It's nice and smooth. We've got the Gear Fit. This is not really an entry in the smartwatch category, but the fitness wearable from Samsung that I've also been using. Of course, this one very different, but just to look at how those two things compare. Obviously, the Gear S3 Frontier are going to take up a lot more space on your wrist. You've got the Moto 360 second gen, which I'm still using. Actually, this watch is up for sale because I'm only going to keep my LG Urbane LTE, trying to pare down to one watch from each operating system. You can see here, these are pretty similar in terms of their face size. The Gear S3 is actually a little more bulky on wrist because, as you can see, it's quite a bit thicker than the Moto 360 second gen. And then, of course, here is the Android Wear watch that I'm going to be keeping in my rotation, the LG Watch Urbane LTE. This one is about the same size as the Gear S3 Frontier. Also, you can see if you look at the thickness, they're pretty similar. I guess the Gear S3 Frontier might be a little bit thicker just because of that front bezel, but they are very, very comparable in their size and build. But again, the strap on this LG Urbane, it's very, very stiff. I didn't really like that. This one seems a lot softer. And then you've got, of course, your Apple Watch Series 2. This is the smartwatch I've been rocking for the last probably month and a half. Really love this watch. So it's going to be interesting to do a battle. I'm going to do a video with these two guys going head to head. Obviously, the Apple Watch smaller on your wrist and also not nearly as thick as the S3 Frontier. So if you're looking for a smaller watch that has a smaller footprint, the Apple Watch definitely would be preferred in that particular category. All right, so overall impressions, I definitely like the build quality, way better than the S2. The strap has been improved quite a bit. Overall, a nicer watch. The bezel build quality is very, very nice and impressive, nice and smooth now. I'll do a little navigation around the operating system, use it, test out Samsung Pay. I can also do some compatibility tests if you guys want to know which phones will pair up. Obviously, the LG V20 works because I just tried that right now. But if you want to know which other phones will work, drop me a line. I'll be happy to check it out for you guys. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys following me at Google+, Twitter, Instagram, at the links in the description. You can also find me at dopetechdaily.com. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy my content so I can make future videos like this. I really appreciate you checking this one out, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.